I watched the 7th episode of And Just Like That Season 2 and it was so heartwarming. Sure, watching it felt like a fever dream. Once again, there was too much going on. It also proved my theory that the odd-numbered episodes are much better than the even-numbered ones, thus, I simply can't wait for the next week. But this week, Valentine's Day is coming, at least in the show. And so the burning question is what every And Just Like That character is doing to celebrate it. I know that this is a highly commercialized holiday. Love should be celebrated every day. And it's a bit silly and probably not very realistic for women in their 50s to be so invested in this day. But I've decided I no longer care about realism in this show. It's fiction, not reality. This episode is exceptionally rom-commy, and I'm embracing it. So Naya plans to bake herself a chocolate souffle for her first Valentine's Day as a single lady, and that's exactly what she did. A couple of you commented on my recent video saying you don't care much for Naya, and I get it. We are more than halfway through the 2nd season of this show, yet we still don't know much about who she really is. A petition to the writers: give Naya more substance, please? She seems like a cool gal. Believe it or not, Miranda was initially supposed to be with Naya and not Che, and Che with, Actually, before I reveal that, please sit down, put away your drink, and ensure you're not eating anything, as this information is truly shocking. You will never be the same person after knowing it. Feel free to mute the next 10 seconds if you wish to live in blissful ignorance. Okay? Okay.
He talked about Naya being the romantic relationship. And I was like, why couldn't it be this butch person that you're talking about having for Carrie?
Yep. Anyway, now that Che and Miranda are broken up, Carrie is the single thread that binds Che with the rest of the show. Che is not dating anyone. Instead, they are rescuing cute dogs. Who would have thought they used to work in an animal shelter? How sweet. Meanwhile, Miranda ignores Che's calls. I'm not entirely sure why. I feared that Miranda would get a Julia Roberts and Runaway Bride type of a plotline, you know, when she would have to learn what kind of eggs she likes for breakfast now that she's single after being in relationships for literally decades. Like, she would have to learn how to cook for one person and get used to sleeping alone in bed, which realistically speaking is something one should do. But that doesn't make good TV, does it? That would be so boring. So luckily, Miranda jumps straight into dating, and after watching this episode, I am convinced that there is a slim chance for Miranda and Che to get back together. Can't say I'm mad about it. Not that I don't like Che, I just find those characters are better off single. In a bookstore, Miranda stumbles upon a glamorous woman who reads Pride and Prejudice. Her name is Amelia Carcy, which rhymes with Mr. Darcy, and Miranda is automatically drawn to her. This scene couldn't get any more rom-commy, but I'm here for it. Miranda asks Amelia out and she agrees. Yay! Also, Amelia's outfit is giving Gwyneth Paltrow in the very famous Gucci by Tom Ford velvet suit. So gorgeous.
Strong, sexy women are my thing. I'm done with Dickens.
Okay. The bun game is strong with this episode. It's almost scandalous. So, Valentine's Day has come. Miranda puts on her purple Halston dress because she knows she's meeting with an incredibly stylish woman. Miranda looks great and she knows it. I am so glad that we've manifested a Miranda makeover. Do you guys even remember her season 1 Andy Warhol plastic wigs and this weird dark eye makeup? Literally 2 different people. Miranda goes to Amelia's house and the magic spell is automatically broken. It turns out Amelia is a slob. Her apartment is so messy, the sheets are dirty, cat litter is everywhere on the floor. Amelia herself didn't even make an effort to dress up for Miranda, and then she leaves poor Miranda alone in her apartment. It's a classic Sex and the City situation. Hilarious. and relatable. When it comes to LTW and her husband, they plan to go on a date to the very famous Monkey Bar, which I know from Mad Men and that Sex and the City episode where Carrie goes there with Mr. Big. But unfortunately, we didn't get to see the actual date, which is a bummer. Some of you don't care about Naya. Well, I couldn't care less about LTW's son and his girlfriend, so let's just move on to Charlotte and Harry's Valentine's Day. At first, they didn't have any plans for the special evening. They probably just wanted to stay in and binge watch their favorite TV show, The Americans. However, Lily decided to host a last-minute F the Boys party for her classmates, so the parents needed to leave. One of Lily's friends brought brownies. Charlotte takes a bite of it, and we all know where this is going. But I was a bit surprised that Charlotte is such a naive mother. Like, she wasn't even slightly suspicious of a teenager-made brownie. Also, is Lily a secret villain of the SATC franchise? I think so. Cut to Charlotte and Harry's dinner date. They are waiting to be seated and the pot brownie kicks in. Charlotte is like, I can feel my blood. So funny. But of course, neither of them knows Charlotte is simply high as a kite, so they conclude she might be having a stroke. Someone needs to call an ambulance. It's all very dramatic, but I loved when Harry and Charlotte declared love for each other. Their relationship is so sweet and aspirational.
If I die, please let Carrie forget what I'm buried in!
Then Charlotte gets to a hospital. A doctor informs her she will be okay, she's not dying. But even the thought of death made Charlotte reevaluate her life. She realizes she misses having another purpose in life than just being a supportive wife and a mother of 2 kids. She's fed up with being Lily's personal assistant and a mamager for Rock. And so Charlotte decides to accept the job offer she got over a half year ago. The episode with Victor Garber was set during the summer break, but now we have February of the next year, so I hope his offer still stands. Alrighty, last but not least, let's talk about Carrie's date with Aidan. So we know that they've been emailing since the previous episode. Aidan lives in Virginia, has 3 kids, and of course is divorced. Now, when I saw Carrie and Aidan embrace, I got chills. It made me tear up a little, and I'm not ashamed to admit that, even though I too absolutely can't stand his jacket. He looks like he came to this date straight from the screening of Oppenheimer. Aidan isn't known for his fashion style, but this is low, even for him. And actually, fashion in this episode is very hit or miss. On the one hand, we had Miranda in the stunning purple dress and LTW's glamorous red jumpsuit. On the other hand, this jacket will give me nightmares, and Charlotte's blue dress makes her look like she's one of the wives from The Handmaid's Tale. Unless that was intentional. Praise be. And while we are on the subject of fashion, did you notice that Carrie is no longer a fashion trendsetter? She doesn't experiment with her looks anymore. Maybe she's now into finding her personal style, which so far includes long-sleeved maxi dresses, weird vintage hats and heels, and the green color. She wore so much green in this season. Anyway, at first I thought, wow, Carrie and Aidan no longer have any chemistry. Look how far away they sit from each other. This date is so awkward. But then I realized, well, of course it would be awkward. The last time they saw each other was in Abu Dhabi when Carrie looked gorgeous, but not really ex-fiancé appropriate, and then they kissed, she ran away, and now years later they just sit in this restaurant as if all that history between them didn't exist. Which leads to my question, why did they consider getting back together in the first place? Surely before even going on this date, both of them must have thought about the possibility of reuniting. But why? Because of the loneliness, the desperate need to feel something or someone familiar? Or is it the right person, wrong time thing? Because I think I understand Carrie's motivations. When she was with Aidan and SADC, they wanted totally different things. He wanted domesticity, whereas for her, even the idea of getting married gave her mild panic attacks. But now she has been a wife. Carrie's marriage with Big broke her fear of commitment, so now she can meet Aidan's needs. But what about Aidan? His motivations are a big mystery to me. I am hoping the upcoming episodes will shed some light on his personality and past life experiences. So their date goes pretty well, I guess. Unfortunately, we didn't see much of it. A yellow taxi, and not an Uber, stops in front of Carrie's apartment. Suddenly, Aidan realizes he knows this place very well, even too well. His mood shifts and he becomes terrified of the past. I'm assuming he probably started to remember not just the good stuff but the bad too. How Carrie cheated on him and how he wanted to control her, how she broke his heart and how he was manipulative. I'm not gonna lie to you, but Aidan tricked me. During this whole scene, I thought, oh my god, they brought John Corbett back just for this episode, and all the paparazzi photos of him were fake. How brilliant. What a crazy ending. I loved this episode. It was heartwarming, it left me smiling. It reminded me a lot of the classic 90s rom-coms, but on steroids. And actually, this episode was written by Samantha Irby, one of the few writers from the And Just Like That writers room, who is not only familiar with the original show, but literally a die-hard fan of it. Whenever she talks about Sex and the City, she's so passionate, she has her own fun theories, and it really shows in her writing. Like, she even added the iconic Carrie scream to this episode. I give this episode 8 pigeon purses. It was such an enjoyable watch, and Anthony's baguette-shaped phone is something I didn't know I needed, but I do. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye!